Work out what's happened here today. Manchester United is the headline, but let's take nothing away from that battling performance from Southampton. Let's just confirm the rest of the day's results then for you. Bournemouth won for the first time in 6 weeks to end Sam Allardyce's unbeaten start as Everton boss. Chelsea equalled their biggest Premier League win under Antonio Conte against a Stoke side that has now conceded 46 goals in 21 league games this season and named a weakened side as well for that trip to London. Huddersfield and Burnley drew 0-0 just as they did at Turf Moor in September. That's now 10 Premier League clean sheets for Burnley this season. Mo Salah's 2 goals today takes his tally to 23 in all competitions, which is more than 8 Premier League clubs have managed this season. Liverpool are now unbeaten in 15 games in all competitions. Newcastle ended a run of 5 straight home defeats but could only draw with Brighton. And Luciano Narsing, who failed to score in the whole of Paul Clement's reign, claimed a last-minute winner in Carlos Carvalhal's very first match as Swansea boss at Watford. Watford have now lost more points from winning positions than any other team in the Premier League this season. Well, as Paul has said, the fight for top 4 is going to be intense and it's going to go right down to the very end of the season. United end the day in 3rd. That's the first time this season they finish a day outside the top 2, and of course if Spurs and Arsenal then win their game in hand, then just 5 points is going to separate the 5 teams chasing Manchester City. So another good day as well for City as United slip up here. At the bottom, you can see what a key point this was for Southampton. It's also so tight, so congested down towards the bottom. Southampton, one of 3 teams on 20 points, just 2 above the drop zone, and that's West Ham sitting 18th. But of course they, along with Crystal Palace and West Brom, have got a game in hand down there over the rest. So those are the results, that's the table. Flat, goalless, insipid here at Old Trafford today for Manchester United. We'll hear from the United dressing room shortly, but first, Maya Shida and Alex McCarthy reflecting on a brilliant point for Southampton. They're both with Des.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
And Maya should be happy. They were both fantastic today, as was Southampton. A proper gritty performance from them, and it was absolute night and day comparing what we saw here to the game against Spurs, wasn't it?
Well, it was, and it's moved them 4 places up the table, and it basically was based on hard work. And I know Long's come into the team. He's there because Austin is suspended, but he typified the team really, the way that they worked, and they got round the ball. They made it difficult for Manchester United. They sensed that this was not the Manchester United at the start of the season. This is Stevens playing fullback, look at the bodies they're getting around the ball. They're just suffocating Manchester United, and we didn't see that freedom. And I think Rashford does things at 100 miles an hour. He just needs to slow his game down, but they swatted him at every opportunity, and their finishing deserted them today, Manchester United. You have to say it's not that cohesion that you would expect, but it was manful defending from Southampton.
And as Martin says, the point is good for them. It moves them up a few places, but you'll know this from your time here as a player. When a struggling side comes to Old Trafford and leaves with something, this gives them a boost just when they were really struggling, just when they needed it.
Yeah, they definitely needed it, didn't they? They'd been struggling for, was it 1 win in 11, 12 games or something, and that'll give them a great boost. As Martin said, they defended well, they threw bodies in front of them. United didn't really create many clear-cut chances for them to have to defend very well. And you think about the 2 best saves in the game, they were from Man United's keeper.
Yeah.
I can't remember Southampton's goalkeeper having to make a good save. He made a couple that were right at him that he should make, but these 2 saves from De Gea were world class, and he's probably earned United a point today. And to say that against when you're playing against a team like Southampton is, it's not right.
Mauricio Pellegrino, though, he can't allow himself and his team to leave here feeling they should have had more. The message from him surely just has to be build on this in the coming games, doesn't it, Martin?
You just to talk here about the goalkeeper. I mean, the way he shaped his foot there. I mean, even he's lying there thinking, how on earth have I kept that out? That just can't be right. When Southampton come to town, they come to Old Trafford. And it's going to be 5 years now that Manchester United have not been champions. And it's unthinkable in the Alex Ferguson era to see where the club has now fallen to. People, OK, it's a former Arsenal player having a pop at Manchester United, but you don't come to Manchester United and get away with that. I can't believe today how tepid performance. I expected much more from Manchester United today, at least to get 3 points in the bag. They've been professional until this point in the season, and now the wheels have come off, and the top 4 is not a given for them. It's going to be very difficult. City running away with it, but Manchester United today, Mourinho, be very interesting to see where he goes now with this one, because he seems to have lost the players today. You
feel he lost the players today?
Didn't sense that fight from the players. It was too slow. And there's work to do here with these players to get back on board with the players. There doesn't seem to be the harmony here that I would have seen at the start of the season.
What do you think, Paul, when you hear that?
I think the players are definitely underperforming. But then it's up to the manager. Maybe the manager's underperforming as well. It's up to him to get the best out of his team, to give them a bit of life, a bit of motivation. It looks like they need, because the quality is definitely there. You know, you look at Martial, these are really good players. Pogba, Matic, these are top players. These who played at top clubs and are now at a top club, and they're underperforming. And I think
it's up to them, though, isn't it? It's up to them to perform. The players.
Yeah, as I see it from me, if I was playing, I'd expect. I don't need my manager to motivate me or to perform well, but the underperforming is just carrying on, and you have to say that the manager has to take responsibility for that. He's the one that he's sending these players out. Is he sending them out without confidence in a way they don't want to play? I don't know.
They've been affected by the criticism.
I'll give you an example of that. I'm watching Luke Shaw, who I do feel is a really good player. And whenever the manager is next to him, he doesn't play better. He plays worse. Guardiola is there stitching information in. Mourinho is there posturing. Yeah. He's an angry man. I don't think it's helping some of these players because they're looking over at his body language and he's not happy with their performance. And they're melting on the pitch, and he needs to bring more to the table. Be with them, be their friend. Like Klopp, you might see, seems to share what the players do. I'm not seeing this from Mourinho, and it's sad to see. There's good players in that Manchester United team, and I don't think he's helping them as much as he could be.
See, I remember in the Sir Alex days, as you will, you know, there were times when he was aggressive and bombastic, and he was very honest about his players publicly. But did you always feel supported by him, Sir Alex? You never felt like he was coming after you, coming to get you?
He was never one. Very rarely, I think, he'd come out in public and criticise you. You'd get it in the dressing room. Of course you would if you needed it. But you always knew publicly he'd support you. He'd put his arm around you if needed be. And that's just the way he was, and that's the way he got the best out of his players.
You always sense he was nurturing the players, and it can't be an us and them situation. You have to be in it together.
OK, well, we'll find out what Jose Mourinho made of this performance from Manchester United. What's the issue today? Furious at full time. Hear his thoughts straight after the break. Welcome back to Old Trafford. That aggressive start to the season where Manchester United managed 21 goals in their first 7 games feels like a long time ago, doesn't it? And that's because they've scored 22 in the 14 games since. What is going on? Let's hear from Jose Mourinho with Des. That's an unhappy Manchester United manager, isn't it?
It is, yeah. And
he knows it wasn't good enough.
He knows it wasn't good enough, yeah, and he's going to be disappointed. He's coming out there trying to support his players, really, when I would have thought he's in the dressing room and they'll be getting a going over, because he said the word desire there. I didn't see one little bit of desire right through the game. OK, we'll take a look at some of the incidents from that half in a moment. If he was supporting his players, he wasn't exactly supporting the referee, was he, Chris? I know you were listening to that interview. What's it like for a referee when you hear a manager talk like that immediately after a match?
Well, the situation's quite simple, really. All you can do is referee what's in front of you, and everybody after a game always has an opinion on whether you've got a decision right or you've got a decision wrong. And we chatted briefly at half-time about what we'd seen with the potential Yoshida handball, and the more I see it, the less of a handball I feel it is. You know, if it was handball, I'd say so. But as I said, the most important thing with handball is it's got to be deliberate. He's very close to it. I feel as though he's pulling his arm away. I just don't see a referee giving a penalty for that at all. Very close. And what I said at half-time, I'll stay with, and I think the referee's got it right. And walking off, he actually said at half-time it wasn't deliberate. So he's very confident in his decision, Craig Pawson, and I'm more than happy to support what he did this evening. I think Paul Scholes is more in the Jose Mourinho camp. If we take a look at the moment again, just explain why you still maintain that it is a penalty.
Because he moves his hand towards the ball. His hands are out there already, which is a natural position. I understand that. It's going to be up there. But I don't think you can see it from this angle. He actually does move his ball, his hand a little bit to what you probably say. Look, he moves his hand back. This is the angle, I think He moves his hand back to touch the ball, to stop the ball. How can that not be a penalty? I know Chris has his point of view, of course, and the referee does. But
does that sway you at all, Chris?
No, not at all. I mean, if we put 16 referees in a room, you would get 16 referees saying that, and obviously sometimes people would disagree with what the referee's decision is. He gets that split second. I've looked at it 5 or 6 times. And as I said, if I felt it was handball, I'd say so. But I'm more than happy with what Craig Pawson did there. I just don't feel as an ex-referee that is handball, and I would imagine the current crop would be of exactly the same mindset as me.
Who says VAR is going to solve all the problems in football, hey? Just something else we do need to look at as well, something that you spotted in the game actually, was what appeared to be a dig in the ribs from Ashley Young. Do you expect the FA to look at it? And if they do, what do you expect the outcome to be?
Well, it was quite interesting. It was a Southampton corner, and you see Ashley Young on the goal line with Dusan Tadic, and he sort of looks at the referee and looks away and looks again. And if you're looking at the footage that I'm seeing now, he bends down and he strikes him in the stomach. He's not challenging for the ball, he strikes him in the stomach. Is it brutality? Is it excessive force? Could he have been sent off? Well, I think if the referee had seen it, he probably would have sent him off. So over the next couple of days now, we'll probably see the FA have a look at that, and nature will take its course and due process will follow. OK, we shall watch with interest. Thank you very much, Chris. Invaluable input as ever. Let's just try and then talk about this Manchester United performance as a whole. Maybe we shouldn't be surprised with the way it was out there today. You know, it was a front four that struggled for goals again last season, and we've just heard from Jose we've now got Zlatan out for a month. We know that Romelu Lukaku is going to miss at least 6 days because of the new guidelines on concussion. Where does today leave your old team?
Yeah, you say that, but these players are good enough to win games. These players are worth a lot of money. Martial, Pogba.
But they've not won for 3 games now against Burnley, Leicester and Southampton.
They're underperforming. We've said that. I don't think there's any doubt they're underperforming. It's just a lack of urgency to me. Like I said before, it seems like they're winning 3-0 every game and they don't need to score a goal. There's no actual fight. There's no actual. Where's the Paul Pogba we saw at Juventus, the player they bought? He's all over the pitch. He's tackling. He's fighting. He's sprinting to people. He's scoring goals from 25 yards out. He's just strolling through a game.
They're not at boiling point, are they?
No.
They can't get them.
No edge to them at all.
I think the manager realises, he showed a lot of restraint there. I think he realises that it's not working. I've tried to give them a little bit of a jab publicly. Now I need to put my arm around them because I'm going to have to work with the same group of players because that's all I can choose from. With injuries that they've got, and he's going to have to really put his arm around these players. He's got to work something out for Rashford. He needs to slow him down slightly, get Martial on the ball and try to get poor confidence back into these players, and he has to do it very quickly.
Something has happened though, hasn't it? Because at the start of the season they were full of flair. I've just said 21 goals in their first 7 games.
I think the start of the season was a little bit misleading. He wasn't playing as well as 4-0 leads suggested. There was a lot of games where the last 10 minutes he was scoring 2 and 3 goals when they hadn't played that well. So I think that could be a little bit of a misleading stat. I think this is just where they're at. They great chance there. Lukaku should score. There's no doubt about that. He should at least make the keeper save.
It's still slow though, isn't it?
It's slow. It's pedestrian. There's no edge to him. There's no desire. It doesn't look like there's just no.
The sort of killer instinct. That was 4 minutes in, that Lukaku header. You know, you have to show that ruthless there. He needs more intelligence. OK, he's gone for this, and it was going in anyway. You can see there that he's just a fraction offside. But if he doesn't touch it, that ball's on its way in the back of the net.
You think so? You don't think it's coming off the post? I mean, this angle, it looks like.
I think it would have gone in.
Right, OK. I think we need to talk about Mkhitaryan. What does his Manchester United future look like?
He's low on confidence. There's no doubt. Look, I've been there. Every single player's been there, low on confidence. It's very difficult to get yourself out of it. The manager always said to me, just keep it simple. Keep it as simple as you possibly can. And your game will come back. He's not played for quite some time now, and the manager's obviously not played him for a reason because he hasn't quite fancied him. But he needs to stick with it. We know there's quality there. I just wonder whether he really believes in himself. We know, we've seen the talent at Dortmund, we've seen it here at times. He's got real quality, and hopefully that'll come back to him. OK, well, we shall continue this conversation on Premier League tonight, which is only a couple of moments away. We're live here till 9 o'clock this evening. Of course, we'd love you to stay with us. Loads to talk about, but there's lots of other sport going on right now. There's Serie A football over on BT Sport 3. We carry on here, and then there's UFC this evening, and then tomorrow, Premier League action, Crystal Palace against Man City, and some Aviva Premiership rugby. But stay exactly where you are, Premier League tonight, straight after the break.